It's Sunday, April 17th, 2022, Easter Sunday. So I'm going to say a phrase and give you time to respond. And hopefully you'll know the correct response. You can put it in the comments. Like I said, it's Easter Sunday, the day when we remember the resurrection of the Lord. So the Lord is risen. And hopefully you knew what I was looking for and were able to post it in the comments. This week has had its ups and downs, to say the least. Monday, hubby had a blood transfusion because his blood counts were so low, and I had the farrier out, and I was able to push him back a little. The hospital is not too far from the farm, and since he was going to be there for over 4 hours, I dropped him off at the hospital and then came out and fed and had the farrier, and then I actually did something I haven't done for a while. I rode Misty. Didn't ride her a whole lot. It was just in the round pen and then out of the round pen and into the one half of the field. And she was a little leery about that, so we're going to be working on that. It's just going to be a while. Of course, then I went and picked him up. Another thing I got done this week, I took apart Gidget's pen. It's no longer there. What I did do instead, I took some of the cattle panels and went from my grow out pen all the way over to a post that I had there. I am going to be putting some fencing that I have with smaller holes along that. I've got an opening into that area between the grow out area and the regular pens. And I am going to plant a little what I call a chicken garden in there. Basically it's going to be things like tomatoes, squash, like zucchini, watermelon, things that I know that the chickens will like to help keep the cost of my feed down this year. And wasn't able to really do anything in the yard, but I did get quite a bit done in the house. And the reason for that is simple. After the transfusion, hubby really didn't feel any better. Tuesday I went to the chiropractor like normal and sold my eggs. Also did something different in that I was hungry. I went out to lunch. And it was good. It was nice to do that and relax for a little bit, and I was thinking about doing that more often on Tuesdays. But hubby continued to feel bad and was just in constant pain. Wednesday I called the doctor up. He had been on fentanyl patches instead. He had been on fentanyl patches earlier in the year, and he decided he didn't want to continue that. But he was just in so much pain, I called up the doctor to see about him going back on those. And they asked if he was still doing the palliative care. Well, he had canceled that because he didn't see where it did any good. I never thought he should have canceled it, but I couldn't stop him. So he was supposed to have an iron transfusion on Thursday. Instead, the doctor called us back into the office. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be for me to get through this next little bit. Plain and simple, there's nothing else they can do for my husband. He has not responded to any of the treatments. His body cannot take any more. He is on hospice. I asked the doctor how long. He said maybe 2-3 months. You can't really say because, crazy things happen. Hospice came out and he was really kind of loopy when they came out and was getting everything set up. He was supposed to go to a couple of doctors in July. So I asked about that and they said, they'd look into that and get back to me. He had to go to the bathroom. When he was in the bathroom, she simply told me, I don't know that he's going to be here in July, so it might very well be a moot point. My emotions are admittedly all over the place. One minute I'm ready to cry and think I'm going to be by myself. How am I going to live without him? And then I have days when I remember what he's been like this last several years. My husband became an alcoholic. He could be verbally, emotionally, mentally, and financially abusive. I don't know how many times I have bought things and more or less hidden them from him because I didn't want him to know. used to have a checking account and a savings account that he didn't know, but it was just a pain. They didn't have the statements coming to the house. They were going to a P.O. box, and it was just a pain to go to the P.O. box and get them. So then he wanted some money one time and wanted to know if I had any, and I told him, yeah, it's at the farm. I'll admit I lied to him. It was actually in my account, and I was thinking about closing it anyway. And I closed it and then told him that I was going to be opening, checking in a savings account because I had to keep the money aside so that I'd have the money for things like farrier, hay, the vet, equine dentist, because if I didn't take out a certain amount every week, then there's no guarantee that I would have the money. He would complain about the cost of the horses, but with the work that I've done out here on the farm, it's cheaper for me than it is for a lot of people. I've been very smart with how I've cared for the horses. So the horses were not really that big of an expense. He spent more a week on booze and lottery tickets, but yet the horses were the problem. So there's thought that when he's gone, I'm going to be free. I'm not going to have to worry about him. I'm not going to have to plan my life around him. If I want to go riding, I can go riding without having to worry about him. If I want to go canoeing, I can go without worrying about him. He's always complaining if I went by myself, but yet if I didn't go by myself, I didn't go. He was really bad last night. I had to have the on-call nurse come out. They had given him one medicine that was supposed to take the edge off. It was not until I had given him the second dose that I realized, because I looked up side effects, that what I was seeing was either from that or sleep deprivation. But also once that got out of the system, he pretty much calmed down. Plus they had put the fentanyl patch on, and didn't realize until this afternoon when he wanted to change his shirt, the patch came off. So he was not really getting the pain meds the way he was supposed to. Now that he's got a fresh fentanyl patch on, he's getting his oxycodone the way he should. He's a lot calmer, which is good because there's a lot of things that we still need to discuss so far as finances. But that is what's going on in my life. Any prayers that you can offer up, it would be appreciated. And of course I did get chicks out here. Unfortunately, I don't know why Laverne decided she didn't like 3 of them. They looked very similar in appearance, and she killed them. I do have, it looks like, another broody. And I still have a dozen chicks at home. I never sold them. So I have stuck chicks that were 2 weeks old underneath a broody before. And I have stuck chicks under a hen, especially when it's been broody before, a week after they've gone broody. So if she really is broody, then next week I'll be bringing those chicks out with me Sunday night, or at least some of them, and that has them gone. So that's what's going on in my life for now, and I will talk at you later.